In Matthew 6, Yeshua says that we are to not lay up for ourselves treasure on earth where moth can get in, rust and destroy, thieves break in and steal, but rather lay up your treasures in heaven. Figure out where your treasure is at. Hi, this is Barry Phelps, a 10-minute tour, day 2 of Chayei, Sarah, the life of Sarah. And let's continue in Bereshit or Genesis chapter 23. And we find that Abraham is negotiating for a burial site, a cave, in which to put away the body of his wife and to provide honor and burial for her. He is seeking the possession of a cave in the field of Machpelah, which is owned by Ephron the Hittite. And it says that if Ephron, it says, I'll just give it to you. We come down to verse 12. It says, and Abraham bowed himself down before the people of the land and spoke to Ephron in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, if only you would hear me, I shall give the amount of silver for the field, take it from me, and let me bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying to him, my master, listen to me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between you and me? So bury your dead. Ephron listened to Ephron, weighed out the silver for the Ephron, which he had named in the hearing of the sons of Het, 400 shekels of silver, currency of the merchants. And while we would understand now 400 pieces of silver in today's economy, oh yeah, that's a good chunk of money. It was an exorbitant amount of money in that day. He's obviously wealthy, Abraham. He's obviously can afford the money. He is called a prince at times by his neighbors. He alone is carrying the covenant all by himself, the covenant of Yah with mankind, with which is going to become Israel. He alone is carrying that covenant at this point. He's brought his son Yitzhak to it, but the covenant has not been transferred in its promises yet to Yitzhak as the heir yet. He has not yet seen the promise that he's going to be the father of many nations yet. Yitzhak, his heir, is unmarried, doesn't have future generations to look forward to yet. So he's still looking toward the horizon, and he is still believing that all that Yah has promised him is going to come to pass. But it hasn't yet. So in the yet time frame, he does what his hands find to do. He does as he is given opportunity to do. And that is to recognize that, it's time to do what is appropriate and share and show honor to Sarah. That's what's important. And for the sowing of the seed for that which is yet to come to pass, he needs this piece of ground. This piece of ground is more than just a burial site for Sarah. This is where he himself, his son Yitzhak and Rivka, Yaakov and Leah, the rabbis even suggest that Adam and Chava are all buried in this one particular cave. This cave in modern day times is in the area of Hebron, and it's a contested area, and the Arabs who live there, they seek very hard to be strong-handed about the cave of Machpelah. To those who are the Jews in the land, it's a very important location. It's very significant to them. Why? It's just a piece of dirt with a building on top of it. It's just a piece of land. How much more land is there in all of the earth? Well, ask that to those who risk a lot of safety and concern to go to the Temple Mount and bow themselves to the ground. It's just a piece of dirt with ancient stones on it. No. It's far much more than that. It is the center of the universe. It is the portal of Yah's glory to the earth. It is an extremely significant piece of ground. And so we come to him and we realize that Abraham is having to negotiate. And it's important that he pay whatever he has to pay, even if the price is a gouging of him. He's seeing what is valuable and he is willing to negotiate and do whatever it takes to get it. Now, if Ron walks off with a boatload of money and he may be grinning to himself and saying, I came out smelling like a fat cat and a rose here. This is great for me. And who wins in the end? Leads us to this question then, what price are we willing to pay for that which is absolutely important? To answer that question, we have to answer the question as to what is exactly that which is important. He who ends up with the most stuff at the end does not necessarily win. He who gloats has a small victory. Those who have, as Yeshua instructed, have laid up their treasures in that which is above and that which is enduring, they're the ones who win. As Rav Shaul taught, there's a time of judgment, and our works will be revealed for what they really are: wood, hay, and stubble consumed in flames, or gold, silver, and jewels that will endure the purging, testing time of fire. What is it that we're spending our time, our money, and our effort, our energy on? That's what we consider important. What you spend your time, your energy, and your money on. So we go to what Yeshua said in Mark chapter number 10. And verse 29 and 30, he says, "Truly I say to you that there is no one who has left house or brothers or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for the sake of me and the good news, who shall not receive 100-fold now in this time, houses and brothers and sisters and mothers and children and lands with persecutions, and in the age to come, everlasting life." It's not as though that he is teaching us, okay, you don't have anything to show in the present age, but in the age to come, you're going to be extremely wealthy and have a super overabundance. No, he says what you will have in that day is everlasting life. Is that not enough? In Philippians chapter 3, Rav Shaul puts it this way in verse 7 and 8. "But what might have been gain to me, I counted as loss because of Messiah. What is more, I even count all to be lost because of the excellence of the knowledge of Messiah, Yeshua, my Master, for whom I have suffered the loss of all, and count them as refuge, in order to gain Messiah." When we determine what is exactly important, when we understand where the value of life actually lies, there's a lot to be said for being able to lay your head on your pillow at night and not feel embarrassed or heavy or overwhelmed or, as I said yesterday, condemned. To sleep in peace. There's a lot to be able to be said for being able to stand in a crowd of people and hold your head up. For knowing that I have prayed already. We're not just waiting for the next crisis to hit and suddenly it's like, well, I guess I ought to pray. No, we've already prayed. And that we've hidden the treasure of the word in our heart that we would not sin against him. And that we have made Yeshua our refuge and our fortress and our stronghold. And that we have our eyes on the horizon that points to the kingdom and not on so much of the here and now that we're worn out by it. Do whatever you have to do, sell whatever you have to sell, and buy the kingdom. Get in the kingdom. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.